I'll just leave my chicken here. There is a reason for the chicken. There we are. Want to take a photograph of me and my chicken? The reason for the chicken is I'm going to be doing a play, all being well, at the Edinburgh Festival in August with Bob Picardo. And it's called The Joke, and this is a kind of the joke about, why did the chicken cross the road kind of joke, and that's the logo of The Joke, the play The Joke. And how do you get down? Oh, here we are. So anyway, the chickens can stay up there, and to prove that I'm not chicken, I'm going to come down in amongst you. That's how brave I am. So, anyway, oh, hello. 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 Poison. Who knows what you'll grow up to nowadays? Anyway, if anyone would like to ask me a question, please put your hand up and I might ignore it. Or I might not. And naturally, the person who wants to ask me a question is the furthest away from me. So, excuse me, I'm coming through. You thought you were going to be comfortable. You thought, I'm just going to just take away from my feet. I'll just sit down here and there we are. So, where are you? Oh, there you are. Indeed, there should have been a Radagast the Brown movie. But there is a book with more of his character in it. Silmarillion. I'm not going to say that word. It's anyway, the thing about that is that the reason why there were films of any of the Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit was that the author had given the rights of those three books and one little book, those 4 books to producers. So he'd given the rights into the world for them to be made into films. But he hadn't done that with this Anyway, he hadn't done that. So sadly, the estate, the Tolkien estate, they're like all of these estates, like Samuel Beckett's estate. Oh God, they become so religious about the subject. They don't want any deviation. They don't want a comma moved, or they must be exactly as it is. And they don't really approve of the films Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. So they are not going to release that book for filming. And because in that, there would have been a lot of Radagast, which is a real shame, isn't it? I mean, it's just a shame even that Radagast wasn't in it, because it'd be good to have some more, of those. And it doesn't stop people from reading the books. In fact, it most likely sells more of them, because people go along and then they want to go and read the book. Oh, look, an invisible baby. Oh, there you are. Sorry, the pram was empty. I thought you were one of those poor sad people who were running. Yes. Hello. Just have a poo in your head. So, anyway, I'm coming round this way if there's a hand up.
In your opinion, what was the most terrifying monster that the Seventh Doctor faced?
You. No, the most terrifying one. As a person, the thing is, I didn't really feel I was the true Doctor till I battled the Daleks. Because then when I battled the Daleks, they were, I felt there was 2 Doctors. That's the most terrifying one now. I mean, I never had anything to do. Oh, she's wingless, so it's alright, we can look at her. Blink everybody, she's not got her wings on. So,
Stone Age, if you say that again. I'm sorry, sir.
did I hear voices? So, the Daleks, yes, I suppose they were the kind of ones. It reminds me of a story we were making of the Daleks, which was a remembrance of the Daleks. I think they kept putting these names in with lots of R's in them so that I'd roll my R's. Anyway, so the Daleks were doing this battle. There was a battle, and the thing was, The story was really about race, which was very important in the discussion of our country at the time, because there was, we were getting used to the idea of a multicultural society, and there were hiccups, and so it was very important, we thought, in Doctor Who, that we should reflect that, and that's why that story was written partly. Anyway, at that time, it was an Easter Monday, which is the 60th anniversary of the Easter Rebellion in Ireland, and the IRA and the Irish Republican Army were very active in London. They were blowing up things all over the place, which is a bit sad, but that was a fact. Anyway, so we're making this Dalek story, and we're working under the arches of Waterloo Station, which is a big, important station in London. And there was a big explosion to happen because there was a battle going on in the tunnel between one faction of Daleks and the other faction of Daleks. And so the pyrotechnic boys at the BBC decided, well, they were going to give one hell of a bang, and they did. The explosion went off, and cars' alarms, where they got rattled and the alarms went off, windows cracked, and it was just, the noise was amazing. You couldn't believe there was so much noise. And then it was on the local radio. The IRA had blown up Waterloo Station. And suddenly there was ambulances and police cars and all the, the noises going on all over London, racing towards where the IRA had blown up Waterloo Station. And I was standing watching as an ambulance came down first, followed by a fire engine, and the lights all flashing, and they came down towards me, and I was watching them, and suddenly the ambulance driver drew to a screeching halt, and his jaw dropped down onto his chest, because out of the smoke came 3 Daleks. But of course, if he'd listened very carefully, he would have heard them say, exterminate the Jesus now. They seem to have Irish accents for some reason, I don't quite know why. Well, I was another doctor. What is the mystery? Well, once upon a time, there was a doctor who didn't turn up for a regeneration. So, they had to find, an understudy or someone who looked like him. But the casting department were a bit short-sighted. Anyway, they got me. I ended up playing Doctor Who number 6. Of course, as you all know, Colin is a rather large chap. And you might not have noticed, I didn't until I watched the 5-ish Doctors reboot, that I'm actually a rather small doctor. Up until then, I thought I was much taller than that. When I looked at me working with Peter and Colin, I realised how small I was. Anyway, they put me in Colin Baker's costume. They lost me for 3 days. Then they stuck a wig on me. I look like Harpo Marx. But anyway, I'm proud I am the only actor who's played 2 doctors. If there was another doctor, who would I like to be? Who would I like to be if I was another doctor? I don't know. Christopher Eccleston. For devious reasons, really. Because I like to work with Rose. That's the reason why I'd like to be that doctor. Billy Piper is amazing. I'm a huge fan of Billy Piper's. I'm a huge fan of Pipers, but then I'm a Scot. I would be, wouldn't I? All right, you're enjoying it? Well, great. Well, I'm not... They were supposed to not keep it a secret for a while, but I did an interview at a convention for some blogger. What a bugger, really. But anyway, he asked me what I was doing, and I said, you know, I was quite honest and said what I was doing, and then I said there's something I'm doing, but I'm not really allowed to talk about it, but you know, it'll come out soon. Anyway, he went out and tried to find out, and did find out what it was, and announced it, which I thought was rather mean, because, you know, I was obviously instructed not to talk about it, and yeah, so he's given it away, so he makes himself, you know, feel important. But he diminished very much in my eyes because of that. But anyway, I'm now, it's known I'm in Sense 8, and I don't know quite how much I've got in it, really. I had a great time doing it because they flew me to Chicago from London for one line. In Chicago. And then I did two scenes in London. And then I did many, many scenes in the Highlands of Scotland. Woo! And then I went to Holland and Amsterdam. And there I did, quite a lot of scenes, really, which was nice, and it's really good. Could you guys just keep it down, please? Hello. Excuse me. You PR person, stripy person with green, with long hair. Would you please keep the noise down? I'm talking, yes you, I'm talking to you. I'm actually looking at you. If you weren't playing with your telephone. Hello? Here I am, right in front of your eyes. Hey! Shh. Thank you. So where was I? What was I talking about? Sense8. Oh yes. So yes, I'm in it somewhere. It comes out in May, I think. I was got to do some ADR, additional dialogue recording. When you get, then you get an idea of what it's going to be like. I play a Scotsman. Yeah. Yes, well, it could be about anything, couldn't it? Anything with music. You know, I suppose Wagnerian. It could be big and, you know, battles with Daleks and spaceships, or it could be poetic, like Benjamin Britten. His music's very poetic. I mean, there's so many things it could be, or it could be, what's his name, the great composer. Oh, I won't disturb you. Oh, well, I've disturbed you, so I'm going through. Copland, you know, cowboy one. The best and worst, did you say? Gallifrey. Well, the best thing would be that Doctor Who wasn't on it. Because he's such a nuisance. He gets up to all sorts and he doesn't do what he's told. The worst thing would be that Doctor Who isn't on it. Yes, I think that would be it. Although I come from Scotland, you didn't know that, did you? And there's a place there called Galloway. So, I mean, I think maybe Doctor Who comes from Galloway, it's just that there was a typo. And then all the Scots would have always been Scottish, you know what I mean? I mean, all the doctors would have always been Scottish. Ah, hello there. Are you coming through? Hello there, Penny. You alright? Now, I don't think it would be number 6. Nor number 4. Because if I stole that costume, they wouldn't lose me for 3 days, they'd lose me for a year. I'd look rather strange, wouldn't it, with that big long coat dragging behind me. There could be 7 dwarfs underneath it, following me. And the scarf, well, I must hear even get strangled. So, who's costume? I suppose Christopher Eccleston's leather coat was quite nice, you know. I quite like that. Yeah. Well, there was one once. I was on this cruise, and there was this young lady. She was really sweet, but she was a bit kind of crazy. Anyway, we had a lovely cruise. It was a great week, and we came to the end of the cruise. It was the last night. My wife was with me, and I was downstairs. And this girl had always been one of those people that suddenly she goes, "Oh, there you are on my shoulder. Oh, you're that shoulder. You know, go for a wee. Oh, there you are. What are you doing there?" Anyway, all that kind of stuff. Slightly kind of, she kind of latched on. So they came down to me in the cabin and said, "She's decided." You were there, I think, weren't you? She said, they came down to me and said, I won't say her name, A, because I can't remember it, and B, it would be wrong. But anyway, they came down and said, she's so happy. She's been so happy on this cruise. She does not believe that life will ever be worth living again because she's reached the zenith of happiness. So she's going to throw herself off the boat. And they told me that, and I said, well, tell her to jump. But luckily my wife was there. She's a much kinder person than I. She was a nurse as well, and anyway she went up and talked her down, and this girl didn't jump. And she went on to live happily ever after, got a boyfriend and all that. She was just being a bit hysterical. But I suppose that was a bit extreme. I mean, I didn't really want her to jump. I mean, I'd been mortified if she had jumped.
Sylvester.
Hello, I hear you, God.